Okay, I wanted to talk about my first Schipperke, and actually I have to say that he was my favorite dog of all time. If I had to pick one dog that was my favorite, it was Apache. And actually, I think about it now, it's like if I didn't have Apache, I hadn't had that first Schipperke, I may not have continued to get other Schipperkes after that, because I've had a long line since I had Apache. I've had this long line of Schipperkes, and currently I have one right now named Rodan, and he's sitting right here next to me. Anyway, um, I got him from breeders Vivian and Art Nunnally. Also, I just wanted to mention that findagrave.com I have a memorial up for Apache with photos and so on, a bunch of photos and stuff. It's under Apache. I think it's under Apache Evans, and he was born on April 13th, 1981, and he passed away on January 31st, 1994. He was born in Gardena. Vivian Art Nunnally, they were the breeders, and he passed away. I was living in Encino at the time, but I actually had to take him into the vet to have him put to sleep because he was suffering from, I can't remember what it was, cancer or something. And actually, Dave went with me to the vet, so I'm glad he was there for me. And it's like my boyfriend Dave Rosenthal. And they own a kennel in Gardena. His legal name on the pedigree was Magic Apache Tears of Lejan, and he also added a CD onto that. That's called Companion Dog. It's from Obedience, and their kennel name was Lejan, L-I-J-N. I actually saw my first Schipperke. I was unfamiliar with the breed. I had a Bouvier named Tasha, and I was at a Bouvier event and show or something, and somebody had a Schipperke there, and I just thought they were neat looking dogs, so afterwards I started looking into it and everything, and then I found actually somebody that was breeding them in actually Gardena, the other end of Gardena for me. So so I went over there and looked at them. Let's see, what was I going to say? It's first, it's like, so I got that. It's like, and then I got him when he was like 4 months old. Art and Vivian had they had a litter, and I think all of them were taken. I think it was just a small litter, like 4 puppies or something. And he was the last one. And Art Nunnally said that that was his favorite out of the litter, but I actually ended up getting him. He was 4 months old, and Apache's dad was the top winning Schipperke show dog. His name was Zeb, and at that time he had won more best in shows. They very rarely win a best in show, very rare. But he actually had won several best in shows. And I don't know if he was top winning Schipperke of all time at this point, but at that time he was. His mother was also a champion. It's like Apache was more like a pet quality dog. He wasn't up to standards and stuff. He was a small, he was small for the breed and so on. He didn't have the big thick coat, or anything like that. But I got to tell you, he made up for it in personality. It's like I used to refer to him, being full of piss and vinegar. He was really smart, and it's like I used to joke about him staying up all night and masterminding things, it's for the next day. I was big on showing dogs at the time in Obedience, so it's like I put him through Obedience, and that's when he got a CD. But we went to a lot of matches together, and I took him to a lot of matches, and we had a lot of fun doing that. And I have a whole bunch of trophies. I don't have one here with me, but I did have a bunch of trophies. I had joined Golden West Obedience Club, which was close by at Alondra Park, and we were like. I guess it's like we were regulars there. We were there all the time and stuff. I got a few pictures here of him. I got more than this. It's like it's it's like I don't I wish I had had more pictures of him. I realized years later that I didn't really have as many pictures of him as I should have taken. But this is him This is at a laundry park. They probably had some kind of match or something. And of course, the little dog is Apache, and that's Tasha. And he's got a date on it. It says 1981. So this is probably had only had him for maybe 6 months when I took that picture. And then this was some kind of stupid little dog contest, probably a few years later, sometime in the 80s. Also at Golden West. It was Halloween. And then here's a picture of him with Starsky and Glacier in my parents' backyard. And not sure what year it is, but it would have been sometime in the 1980s. And then here's a picture of him also in the 80s. He's like laying with a little toy pony that probably belonged to my nephew Joshua. And they were never, big winners and stuff. It's like none of my dogs were big winners in obedience and stuff. But we did win trophies here and there. And active members in the obedience club. In 1985, Apache won Golden West Novice Dog of the Year. And I do have a trophy. I still have some of the trophies. I don't have all of them, but I do have trophies. But I know I've got the one big trophy. It's sitting up on a bookcase in the dining room right now, and it's it's like I think that's the one that where I won the Apache Dog of the Year for Apache. And I got a picture of it here. It's like this is just a quick picture of that dinner. It's like he's not in the picture. And actually, this is 1986, so it's like this must have been. It's like I guess he won in '85, but it's like this was taken in 1986 or something. But anyway, it's like he moved around with me and everything. When I moved out of Gardena, it's like I moved around and went to it's like ended up in the valley, and he went with me, of course. When I got married, and I know that my it's like my ex-husband took care of him and stuff, and he had some nicknames. It's like I call him Patcher or Patcher Pups and Pupper Phissy. And one of our last memories together is when we survived the earthquake together, the Northridge earthquake in 1994. He died just a few months later after that. Actually, I take that back. It's like he died just a couple weeks later. And he was, it's like, but we had a great life together. That was a rough month. That January of 1994 was a rough month because of the earthquake. And I remember in the earthquake I had him tucked underneath my arm when we were trying to stay on the bed and stuff. That's another story. It's like I talked about the earthquake already quite a bit. But anyway, so just wanted to say that he was just, it's like I think he'll probably always be stand up there with the best dog, my favorite dog of all time. Even though I've got, right now I've got this guy right here. It's like, he keeps me going, and I guess you could always say that like whatever dog you have right now is your favorite dog. So right now it's Rodan. And there is a memorial for him on, like I said, Find a Grave. So please look that up.